So hopefully it's recording. The lighting, you can see it's way over here. It's a funny apartment, if you will, No lighting in the bedrooms, no lighting in the living room. The foyer, as they call it, or the people call it, I call it the hallway. The entrance and the rest of the hallway, and over the kitchen and the dining room, which is what this is, the dining corner. And so there's no lighting above. You have to put something in the wall. I don't want to make holes. That's why I don't put the other monitor. It's on the good desk. It's called something pro desk, whatever it is. And then this is actually on a little wooden stool I made with for my soldering, and I use it for the TV. The other one is too uneven to put on this the other monitor, so it has a little better at the visual, but I'm going to use this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call these tangent videos, because I'm going to go off at tangents. I'll speak of science at the end after a mimic, then go back to a mimic, then science. Hopefully I try to stick to the subject on science, whatever I'm speaking of. So some of this might be blurry because I don't want to show, where the folders are at and things like that. But commercials going on, so as I'm stalling a bit, skip the commercial. Here's the music. It's let's see if I get it right. LV, it's a game. Audio. I gotta check the other audio now. Let's see. Got a burp, so excuse me. Silent burp. Semi-silent burp. I hope it's okay. Anyway. Warning, make sure you have no mirrors near the monitor, because then my face will break the mirrors. See how loud it is? I do the sound effects. Let me explain this a bit before I get into this. I do the sound effects. I'll do the lady's voice. I try. It's mimicking. It's something that relaxes me. I have severe dyslexia, so when I read things, I need to have them like in a line and not bunched up. I separate it. You'll see the words there, but I'm actually reading from another. I read from both, but I'll try, because this is separated. When I start getting unfocused, I go to the other one. It has fonts that I created in the 90s for dyslexic people, but nobody wanted it, so it's hanging around. I actually lost the better version of it. I don't know where. It's on the other. Two hard drives back. Let's see, what else should I say? So, when you hear me do sound effects, it came from as a kid. I was like 4 going to 5. My father went to the 6th floor of the Red Door Projects, one building, to visit a friend who worked in there as a cabbie. And the neighbor opened the door, and I saw these, where I know now as reels, turning, and they said Apex. And I remember that word because it was in the Bugs Bunny. Apex, the safe that fell and stuff like that. Or at least I saw it in some cartoons. So, and they said hi. We knew kind of each other, but not as well as the good neighbor. And he said, "Hey," and I had done a dog little. I went, my little voice. I'm 4 or 5 years old. I went, "Rah!" and he came out to think there was a dog. And I just did that because the cabbie liked the way I did sound effects. I did doorbells, as a kid, but with a little voice, with my voice, Anyway, so. See, I go in tangents. Now I'm thinking of science, and I'm thinking of a young lady. Something else had happened, but anyway, and I don't take medication, and I don't want to. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I'd rather stay as I am. I'm connected ethereally. I see things that people don't think about. I actually saw energies coming out of people till the age of 11. Puberty hit. That's what happened. But before that, so I was 4 or 5. And the guy said, "Oh, can you do the little doggy sound again?" And I did it, and then I did the cat. "Can you do other sounds?" I did an ambulance. Woo! At that time, they're different now. Now they get the woo, 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 all the sounds, including "get the out of the way." They let you speak into it. Well, that was 69, 68, and that gentleman, I saw him do rapping in the 70s. So I wonder if the words were used for that. Also did a, this is, I know it's going to sound like a joke, but a gentleman came out in a purple suit out of a Cadillac, a purple Cadillac. This was on 32nd Street across from the big post office in New York City. There used to be a blues bar, but it wasn't the famous one from the guitarist. It was before him. And because that area has like the jazz area. You know, they're clubs that are like, not underground, but like little clubs on the second floor in that area. And I heard him upset telling a friend, and I'm not going to do the accent because it sounds like what people think, a pimp. And he's upset that he has this big thing. Now later on, it was called the brick. It's a phone. It looks like the military phones, but a little more portable. And this is in the 70s, by the way. And he comes out, and he's complaining that he has two phones, one for the ladies and one for his guys. That's what he didn't say boys. He said his men, I think he said, and the ladies. But he can't differentiate, if I say that correctly, Massachusetts. I would practice that word. So he picks up the wrong phone. He needs, and the gentleman told him, I guess he's the one that sold to him or knew how to work it. He said, no, you could record your voice into it. He said, what I press this? Yeah, but what am I going to say? And when he said, well, you only have 3 seconds also. So maybe ladies and men. That's so, he said like square. That time they spoke street language, was different lingo. And so I said, I can do the dog sound for the guys and the cat sound. And I went, roar. I'm going to do it loud because I don't want to. We have a neighbor has a little puppy and he gets all excited if I do. And then there was the cat. It was high pitched. Anyway, that was the ladies. And he put it on and he loved it. So the first, I don't know if it was, I'm sure people other had other phone tone rings. What do you call ringtones? Yeah, ringtones, that's the word. So that's a little history. So that's why you hear me making the sounds, the background, the guitar, what I'm mimicking. I'm not really doing it, I'm just having fun. Okay, because if I just do the signs, people will leave. But I do the mimicking. I wanted to do this on SoundCloud, but I just was too busy with other stuff, family happening issues. Mother was passing away, and I just, so I didn't complete it. I might go back and write stuff, but I already put up the audio and it's full. It's SoundCloud, VIS immediately followed by the numeric 0. So 4 characters, 4. VIS, small case, VIS, and then the numeric 0 and the symbol. That means 4 characters, not the written out version, not the alpha, but the numeric. And you'll see a few have my science written in my theories, not science. Hopefully I can do it here verbally. So I'm going on a tangent. So this is tangent 1. I'll call it something else in the beginning, whatever. Mimicks and tangent, that sounds good. Use my nickname. So that's on SoundCloud, by the way, the VIS immediately followed by 0. Okay, I'm trying to figure this out. Here we go. Again, LV or LVI, it's a game. Remote control. Diddy, I just saw the wildest thing. Watch the sun just walk into the ocean. Nothing I can do. None before I knew. It's a game. I can't wait to see you. It's a game. I can't wait to see you. DD, I belong in California. I came out here to disappear and disconnect the dots. Nickels on the dime, hide all the time. It's a game. I just wait to see you. It's a game. I can't wait to see you. Never been so alone in the ambulances in New York City. The Minutemen were dead. I never been so alone till I read that the Minutemen were dead. I never been so alone, oh no, 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 till I read that the Minutemen were dead. I never been so alone until I was today. It's a pigeon, electronic pigeon. Yeah, I just heard the latest from Georgia. Couldn't turn the sound around, ticking down the clock. There's nothing I could do, not before I knew it's a game. I can't wait to see you. It's a game. I can't wait to see you. It's a game. I could do the other sound, but it's not sitting in my head. I've never been so alone till I read that the Minutemen were dead. I've never been so alone till I read that the Minutemen were dead. I've never been so alone till I met that the Minutemen were dead. I've never been so alone until I was today. In the video, I'm surprised you didn't draw Godzilla against Mothra. And I'm missing now 4 teeth, all knocked out by doors. So I'm gonna get it fixed, but I had a problem. One of the reasons I've been delayed, computer went down. Then before that, somebody changed my name officially at birth. Somebody went that far back. I don't know. It seemed to happen from 2009 to 2011. Me, the person who that names belonged to, took me 2 court cases and 8 months to get it fixed, and went to like, oh my goodness, man, like 11 places. My sister helped me. I went actually before a few times, but I had problems reading because of my severe dyslexia. I can read, but I can't continuously read. And she's a little more aggressive, sometimes a little too much, but she'll get things done. When they said no to her, when they say no to me, I said, oh, okay. When they say no to her, what? She goes, what do you mean? His name is this and this, and they changed it, and and she gets it done. A little dangerous sometimes because you don't want to be too not an argument, too aggressive too when you're talking to state people and federal, so. And so she started the ball rolling and got the first 2 important ones, and I've got the last 2, and there's 3 more to get. But accounts that I have, I don't want to say where official accounts are frozen because they have to go down to the paperwork, and that's going to be till mid this year, somewhere in the middle of this year. So that's the story, Jerry. Anyway, that's a no commercial. So now the science part. When you see the James Webb telescope and they see these areas that seem to be 1 billion light years or 2 billion light years old, what you're looking at, this is my theory, it might be wrong, and there's a bubble theory that was said, and I finally read it, that it's incorrect. Somebody told me that years ago. My theory I call the Mr. Bubble theory, because it has a dot in the Mr. and the 2 dots. If you look carefully, there's a clear dot and a dark dot, and it has to symbolize symbolic with what I state how this type of universe is formed. I theorize about 5 types of universe, but this comes from death experience, not near death. I actually died 2 times officially. 1 time it was in the bedroom. That was the one that I have the most information, where I choked on a gum as big as a small tangerine. I used to collect the gum. If anybody knows, especially boys, they put the gum together and you put it underneath the bed and you get another piece and you get. So I had enough to make a small tangerine because it was soft gum. It was the gum that This is in the Bronx. When I lived in the Bronx, in the red door houses, projects they call them. And I say it's important. The Bronx had the highest per capita percentage of Nobel Prize winners. I think because of crystals that were placed in the higher Adirondacks, New York State, and they're pointing towards the Bronx. The Bronx is a hill, a mountain, kind of. It's a higher up. We used to see the Empire State Building like a point, not the whole building. That's how high up it is. And so I think it focuses energy there. I really believe, and if you're meditating, or for me, if you die in a natural manner, not getting hit by a car, natural by mean choking, something that's not forced on you, your body can interpret things that are happening. And so it was a gum I choked on. Watching a Mets game at night. My father let me stay up because the Mets were playing in the West Coast. Might have been even extra innings against the Oakland A's, I think. So the Mets. Anyway, that's that. The other one, the second one was drowning behind Yankee Stadium. There was a pool, city pool. I saw 8 feet. Then I saw 12 feet, and that's it. Next thing I know, I was in an ambulance. They were preparing this tag on the side of my foot. Never put it on the toe. That I learned later. They put it on the side. And the gentleman went back, and he was writing stuff and coming back. And then my uncle took me there, and he didn't know. He came in after I came back. He liked to talk to the ladies. So he was talking I figure that the pool, and finally he found out who I'm connected to, who brought me there. And I already had come back, and he was very worried, but he didn't know. The other place was the tonsillectomy, it's called, when they take out the tonsils. I'm looking over here because I'm reading something here, and I'll be looking over there because I got food on the stove very low, and I'm watching a reflection. I put a mirror. You can't see it on cameras below the height. So I'm looking at something over here, and then an automatic search I have for some of the tunes and the lyrics. So what do I see? That's why I go on a tangent. You see, my mind is always on something else. I have no memory. It's hard for me to remember things. So, back to tonsillectomy. I heard a Pakistani or Indian-like accent, and I could see the hitting through sound. When you die, what you see, the images come to the olfactory is in 3 levels. The upper, the highest, which I think hasn't been discovered yet. They don't know the smell. They know the sense of, what's it called? Pheromones. Is that it? Pheromones or pheromone? Then there's a higher one. That's how you draw pictures in your mind when you're out of your body, when you're floating through sound. Intra-resonance, actually. It's beyond sound. And I spell intra with the A-E, that sideways. The A is sideways. I say that's a symbol for hydrogen, how it danced with helium at a certain angle to start physics, or the physical part of the universe. And that's a clue that was left. So that's the AE, where the A, I don't know if you see it on camera. So I'm not looking, again, I'm looking at other things. I'm not looking at there. Where it's angled, better put it on this one, where it's angled. The E is this way and the A is sideways. I could look with the character, I have to look it up. I don't want to do that because I'll be popping up stuff, information, and then I have to blur it, and it's just a mess. So, the intra sound. Take ether. Etherics is the paternal of the 2 dimensions. Physics is the maternal. This is the way I see it. It's not something I've read anywhere. I wrote this in papers that filled 32,000 pages. One side was drawn, the other side is written. So it comes out to be 18,000 written, because I did jot some notes at the picture side. I would draw with my left hand, and I would write with my right hand. But they told my parents that kids with the left hand are devil, she was, my goodness, bless my mom and my father, they passed away already. But my mom had a jealous streak, and she really also listened to the church, and they told her that's devil. It was because I was asking too many questions, so they picked on me. And so they had me purposely write with my right hand. So I still could draw with my left hand, and I would draw what I thought I saw in the out-of-body experience, and jot what I thought it meant. Put it together, it came out to 32,000 pages on there, stuff. Anyway, that's gone. That's been buried in New York State, east of Elmira, in these architect tubes that were cheap. I brought them purposely cheap at a place that was an art store right off the Williamsburg Bridge, at Grand Street. Polk? No, something like that. No, Polk was the hobby store on 30. on Fifth Avenue, Paul Cobby. Can't think of the name. I thought it started with a P, but and that was an art store, and I bought these cheap architect tubes, cardboard, so they can deteriorate. And I buried it. I buried it in a certain symbolic way, but I'm sure it's gone. They might find like a different type of soil that's, because it has that buried into it. And those pages are buried. I kept a few, and then I tried to give it to the Weather Channel. Nah, they didn't care for it. I sent clues on the edge of my letters that I wrote to pen pals there. I left clues, and then I wanted to give it a Wikipedia. When the first year they started, they said, "No, we don't take things that are not official." I said, "Okay, that's it." So I had like 3,000 pages that, like secondary pages that got tossed away. That's somewhere in a city dump, gone by now, gone. So that was 1998. I threw it away. 97. Something. And no, that was the Weather Channel. That was the burying in the east of Elmira, New York State. 2000, after a year after Wikipedia started, is when I got rid of the other pages. A year and a half, something like. Now, what was I talking about? So, the tonsils. So I heard the Pakistani voice or the Indian voice, the accent, say the gas is wrong. And I could see, again, we see by using the intrasound, and it develops a picture. Now, when the most information I obtained was with a choking of the gum, floated over the body real quick. Saw my father, but real quick, what I saw clearly then was the hallway, and then out the window, and I could see Yankee Stadium as a little light bulb. It looks like when they're playing, all the lights are on. From our distance in the Bronx, it looks like a light. And then as I went like maybe 3 blocks towards Yankee Stadium, I just floated upwards. I think I was heading due south directly. I'm trying to think. South is that direction. I might be wrong. Maybe southwest. It seemed like I was heading southwest, but when I went upward, it was aligned with the south, and I just zoomed upward. The turquoise tube, I call them, is what the black tube, 45 feet in length. The diameter is actually it has a curve to it. In fact, it reminds me of the Y-Files. It is a YouTube site. I highly recommend it. I got like 40 of my friends to go in 2022 in August, July to August. I saw the Y-Files. No, I keep forgetting, 2022. Because I actually was looking for a chat site to talk to young ladies, but I wanted non-nudes. I went to Chatterbait, searching non-nudes, and Y-Files came up because I was looking I thought I saw a site that was WTF. Meaning, and sorry for the cursing, but what the fuck? And what came up was WF, and I said, "Oh, there's missing a T. What is this?" I loved it. I loved the format. It reminds me of the old shows I did cable here. I did camera for New York City, and I did camera at 4 places. People know me as one place. The other 3 were private, and there I was more professional, and I had to go out and do recordings that were very adult oriented. So I don't want to get into that. But the only people know me at was at TV Studio Inc. Gentleman, Mr. Gruberg, fantastic human being. Helped people. Did it quietly. When it came to voting, he made sure people went to vote. Anyway, so I've got to go another tangent. So back to the Y-Files. And so I told about 40 people on Facebook. 20 something of my friends, true friends. People I know on Facebook. I don't just pick people up, That sounds weird, but I don't accept internet. I have a separate site for that. It's electronic friends and electronic acquaintances. So go to Y-Files. They're really blown up in the last 6 months in popularity. They have something about a coil that you go into. I got to explain that in another video. But that should be done in a certain 2-to-1 ratio. I'll explain, and which it is being done. So that's what you're going to. A long version of that. That's when you die. You have a light around you. It's spinning in this direction. If you get here, going in this direction, follow my thumb, going around you, disappearing, coming back. You don't have a head. You're just looking up and you see a light. What hasn't been discovered is that little light also spins. You go towards what is an inward star. It should be 16 light years away, 15, 16 light years away from this sun. It's a sibling of the sun. To have complex life as human beings that reincarnate, it's very important, because when they had the what they call the young Dryas. What was it, 12,000 years ago? It almost wiped up humanity off the earth. The reason we can come back and start civilization more quicker, have tools and things like that, is because we reincarnate. So it's in our memory. Now, when the young Dryas happened, I didn't know about this. I don't read books. I never read a book in my life. Only Man magazine, and it was like, I like the pictures. Spy versus Spy, Don Martin type of thing. Sergio in the little corners. I met the people, and they invited me to come over, and I would go over there like once a month. I don't know why, but I went to the Gorilla Room. Those who know Man magazine understand what that means. Others won't realize that. They were nice to me. I don't know why. And so I did give them ideas, but that doesn't mean, they just like me. So the black hole. So the black hole also has a light turning. Little lights, actually more than one, but you'll focus on one. Just like the one over your head, there's more than one. You focus on one, and it's also not just spinning around it, but it's turning itself. It's turning it, and so the black hole should be 15 to 16 light years. I say 1.5 sometimes because it's a decimal. It's in the equation, but it should be 15 to 16 light years. If I'm wrong, then it's 1.5. It's a sibling of the sun. You need that. So if something happens on the planet, you can bring the people back. Oh, the young Dryas and the Wi-Fi says people saw like white beings. The white, I don't mean white. It should be clear. Bright is a better word. Void and bright are the two ways. Dark and white should be void and bright in speaking of space, because people take it racially. And they were seeing these floating like ghosts, very bright. Well, I believe, since my theory says that you can stay a ghost. How can I put this? A ghost, when you die, can stay connected to this planet for close to 400 years. It's 386 years. Give 20 years. So when you're meditating also, and you're leaving your body, you're like a ghost, if you want to call it that. It's an ethereal body. So if you're meditating, the furthest you can go in years to see the future is 386 years, give or take. That's why I say Nostradamus probably saw just beyond World War II. Because if you count, when he was doing his meditations, count 400 years to give a little more space to the error rate, the error space, 20 years. So round it out to 400 years. It's around that time. I just think people start adding because they got to sell books. Okay, and it's interesting. And some like it for the interest, some like it for the books, and it blends and it attracts to create more things. Now you can go further if you can connect to another complex planet like this one as your ethereal body, and then you have to add that planet's limit. So another planet could have 800 years. Then you add it to that, it's 12. But you have to make sure you get back to your body before that original body can no longer bring that light back. And that's tricky. That's why you should have like a nurse next to you, or somebody that knows how to take care of the body, like Carl Jung had, so they can bring you back in case something's happening. Now, that's my neighbor in the background talking, in case you're here. Now, he has a good voice. He should be announcing movies in theaters. He has a very good deep voice, Jamaican voice, I think it is. No, he's not from Jamaica. He's from Africa. I forgot what he said. I think of Jamaica when I hear that voice, but he says from Africa. I can't remember what part. My apologies if he sees the video. I forgot. And so, I need water. Excuse me for a second. Mouth is getting dry. So, let's see. So you go towards the black hole. It's an inward star. The way the universe works, it recycles everything. Okay. The star is taking in certain energies at the physical level, and a bit of the ethereal, but more physical. It started through the ethereal, but downgraded to the inward star. Black holes are different types. In this case, it takes in the light, your clear energy. Oh, as I was going to say, the universe is physical at 10.7 something, maybe. No, 10.36. I keep saying 7. I've been saying 7 because I add up all the. Anyway. Descending and descending, I mix up. It's 10.3, let's say 3.3 to round it out, because then it fits the formula. 10.33 physical, and then it's descending dark matter at 22 point. Is it 22.5? 22.5. Yeah. And then ascending at 22.5. Together they make 45%. And there's clear matter, and that's a solid 45%. Clear matter or clear energy, I don't know which is better. My website is called clearmatter.blogspot.com. If you look for it, you'll see the ugly face in the front. Now, so what was I going to say now? Let's see. So you're going into the black hole. There's light going around it. The same way if you're inside it. Outside it has to be the other way, I guess, before, you know, how you face. And there's more than one little ball going around. By the way, that's what you hear in the scriptures called the pearly gates. Notice the first official picture of a black hole has little light around it. I think it has more than one. It shows it, I think. If it only shows one, there's more than one. It's also rotating around itself, not just around, okay? But that hasn't been discovered yet. Those are the pearly gates. Surprise, okay. So people think there's really gates with gold and beautiful. No, it's called gate for a reason. I'm not going to get into it too much. It prevents other energies, simply put. But you go into there, your memories are stored in wavy patterns. Only God, if you want to call it God, not a religious, not an old man, but when the universe began, it was a dot. If you looked at it from the physical, which would be from one direction, really physical, and then the back of it, this will be the front. Then the back is straight line. So it's a dot and straight line at the same time. Hence God, or Alpha Omega. Okay, that couldn't exist. It does because it's tapped to the ethereal, and so you don't see it really. It's not visible. It's the concentrated clear matter. Then it angled up the back. I don't want to say exactly what happened there. It gives away some dangerous information. It angled up, came down. That up and down caused a reaction down here that looped. It created a little loop. Then it like a figure 8. And it goes back, and then when it comes up the top, it's a big loop, and it's 10 times bigger than whatever the little loop is. Spirit is the sleeping, if you want, universe. It's what God is. One point, one line at the same time. Only time that happens. After that, we all have in ourselves God, and people go, that's nice. I say, you have it, I have it. Then I say, the puppy has it, and they go, huh? Then I say, the roach, the fly, the poo-poo in the ground has it. And they go, oh, that's not good. It's got to be everywhere. It's the smallest thing, if you want to call it that, the smallest entity that can exist in this type of universe, and it is everywhere, so it becomes the dominant. Okay, but it's unconditional love, so it doesn't affect. It just allows everything else to exist. And if it has a mind, it can make a decision. If it's flowing with nature or with physics, with etherics, which is God, what I call it, the energy, then it has to follow those laws. So your memories have a wavy pattern. The wavy pattern is wavier when you go against those two parental dimensions, the laws up to two, okay? Not religiously, so I'm not going to get into the etherics, but physics, the laws. There's a tree there. You need the wood to make a house because you have a family and and the cold is coming. You chop the wood down, you take out the roots. If it doesn't grow, if the type of tree doesn't grow back, or plants are the ones more, and then you plant another tree there, several, to make sure it grows. See, you flow with nature, you help nature. Makes sense. She helped you, you help her. And so, same thing. There's a deer. You gotta eat. The family's hungry. They're on a mountaintop. Let's say a small plane crash. You gotta take down the deer. You gotta kill it, and eat it all. Use everything. Use the hooves to make a little cup. If it depends what type of the hoof. Some animals you can't do that. Some because it has the bottom is too soft. If it had antlers, you can't use it. If it has horns, you can make it into a cup and drink out of it. Just like you see him use it as a horn, but you don't make a hole on the other end, then you drink out of it. Okay, you're trying to survive, and nature allows that, where the one that's more complex can dominate the other, but as long as it's for good. I'm still looking over here, so I should be looking at the camera, but I'm sorry, I'm looking. So you do it for the good of all. I'm trying to think now. Let's see. So the wavy, that's what I was saying, the wavy pattern. So the more you go against nature, you say you kill an animal just to kill it for sport, a lot of wavy. Then there's the coil. The coil is the ultimate in negative energy being stored. That's murder, suicide, rape. I can't think of the other two now, because you're killing something. You're killing the physical or somebody else's physical body. You're killing your physical body. You're disconnecting when there's rape, you're disconnecting the physical body from the soul. You've damaged. You're doing. Then there's two more. I can't remember right now. Sorry, I can't remember. And well, I also don't believe in capital punishment, because if you kill somebody when they did something wrong, let them die naturally. Even if they don't suffer as much as a person they killed. When you take that life, even if when they die naturally, there's the natural coils. The person murdered in capital punishment. Then there's a coil, okay, and when those things straighten out, because the inward star, the black hole, is recycling. It has to straighten it out to be used as some other part. It can go through quasar, but the quasar takes that X-ray sound that comes out and turns it into light. So that's why that's how the quasars work. I know the stars are collapsing, blah blah blah, but they're opening sieves, I call them. At absolute zero, there are 8 sieves. Okay, there are 8 sieves, and they allow energy to flow and recycle. But you can't get there because there's absolute zero. So, but if one day you discover it, you'll figure it out, and or you'll see it. Just like the Hubble sees outward, you need inward to see this, you need you have to start creating telescopes that are not grounded to physics, even if it's in space. That's how it sees the ethereal. It'll see it as outlines, the clear matter. It will never see the inside, but you'll see outlines. So here we are with a black hole. I'm trying to think in my mind, and I write. I have a note. It's over there. I'm looking at the note, and it has black hole, and it has like 10 things to talk about. But I jump. I can't look at that and keep my mind steady. I actually forget things then, because I'm looking at another word and I forget completely. So I'm trying to stick onto the black hole, the inward stars. So that inward star straightens those lines and then puts them in 2 physical cells that are going to remain. They're not physical cells. They're going to be physical cells. It's 2 containers, to call it. They're clear matter containers. One is going to be the phobia, and one is going to be the deja vu. One stores the when you owe the debt DEBT through karma, and when you are credited, that's good, CREDIT, it's not the ED. Those are the 2. That's going to go into a planet that looks like a small star, but it's a planet. And there is where you'll see the last time you can connect to people that really influenced you. Let's say, now, and again, my mother passed away already. Let's say you are a sibling of mine, but you were born 20 years before me. And goodness forbid we all pass away at the same time. We're going, and we all get judged pretty much equally. When we see that light that was my mother and your mother, because you probably liked her or you appreciated her more when you were younger and you were born, you'll see her with dark hair. I'm looking at the same light, and I'll see mother with gray hair. Well, she colored her hair, Spanish people like that. So whatever, I'll see it was light, dark brown hair. You see with black hair, because that's how you remember. That's those other light beings that are there. If they really influence your life, you'll see them, but you'll see them as you remember them. See, so you'll see a teacher when she was older, usually, where if the husband is there, of that teacher, when they were married. Trying to remember, because honeymoon influence. See, I want to go on something else now. I want to talk about how the brain is tattooed via the sun energy. But that's another story. It's being discovered by Dr. Israel. He worked at the hospital. I was a housekeeper at it, and I gave my pages to 2 script writers that I think helped write Good Will Hunting. But who knows? Because Miramax made that movie, and the owner of Miramax is the one that is in trouble, and he steals a lot of stuff. So I have to give credit to the writer. If it was Damon or the other gentleman, the stars, good. But I saw that one of the writers I gave my 80 pages to in the background behind his family, sitting down applauding. He never stood up, I think. He like friends and family in 2 rows or 4 rows. It looked like 4 rows. But that's another story. Back to the black hole. So the more wavier, the more when it stretches out, it gives a waviness to the karma that's separated to the depth. The less it has it goes by the learning curve, I think. And so if you know already enough, you shouldn't be doing things that are wrong. So as a kid, you may not get as bad as a wave as an adult. Okay? So there's you're in that planet. You have the depth and the credit. There you get degaused completely. All that's left is those 2 in cages that are protected from being degaused. Then they're gonna call it fly, travel back through the clear matter from that, and then you have the influence of the zodiac. But I think it influences more as you're coming by what each symbol is doing, not just when you're born, the day. So it's a little tricky because you're being bathed by that energy because it has to travel. I'm not going to get too much into that either. See, there's a certain energy that can do much more damage than an atomic bomb. I'm talking about hundreds of that. It'll destroy an hemisphere. That's what it does. It does something to the plasma, reacting to the magma, the liquid underneath the core of the earth, and it raises it up and everything collapses into it. But you can only do that to your hemisphere. If you try to throw it across or activate, it's what you do, activate, yours will suffer, not that other. So that's a good thing. That means that it's like suicide, really. You know, it's not like atomic bomb. In other words, if somebody wants to use it against another country, use it against. Calm down. My voice is way up there now, going. You know, if a country wants to use it against another country, they're in the same hemisphere. You're gone. You're both. If you throw it. If you use it, you activate it across the hemisphere, it comes back to you. It doesn't go on the other side. That's why there are two equators. It's in ancient maps. You see two equators. If by any chance the continent is in the center where the two equators are at, and you activate it there, you damage the whole planet. You create a tremendous shift because anyway. So that means that not only your continents can sink, but anywhere around can sink that's around the equator. Because it's not, and the planet changes from being, if it's cold, wherever it is, whatever, if it's super cold, if it's like it melt a lot of water. If it's just regular, they'll still melt, but it's not extreme. So that means that whatever continents were in that area that's affected, they've sunk into the magma. You might see some things left behind. Those are like the mountains. The rest, or the hills. The rest is melted. It's gone. It's cleaned out. It's almost like when you use that, you're actually like cleaning the planet in a full. And nature might do that. If there's ever a lot of atomic, that also activates that. But there has to be a lot of atomic explosions. And when that's activated, it's almost like purging. If that's a word, purging, it's cleaning. It's just taking everything that's on top and it gets inside. Clean it as fast as you can before the radiation damages anything else. Back to the judgment. So you're going back. You're coming back to the planet. You come back through orange spheres, 45 feet in diameter. Yes, like I said, the tube was 45 in length, but it's coiled twice, kind of. So the 45 is there, but it's 2 to 1 coiled. Here it's just a sphere. It's almost as big as a house. In fact, Astronomy magazine in 1980s, late 80s, early 90s, look, page 28, September issue 2, I think September. There you'll see what a gentleman in Iowa or Idaho saw there was an error in his computer readout, because at that time they had Commodore computers, I think, and they only have green and orange pixels, and he saw a lot of orange pixels hitting the earth, reading whatever he was using, a satellite read or whatever. And he thought it was an error. Those are the orange spheres. He called them orange balls. They didn't know what it was. That's what brought to Earth the ethereal water, to begin in the water. That's what goes through other planets. When science reads other planets and they think there's water in it, more than not, it's because the whole solar system is turning and it goes through that. But it can only be tapped into through a complex planet. Mars could have been a complex planet, but if they did what I say can happen on both hemispheres, and destroy it, then that's everything, it vaporizes. But that's deep. I don't. Maybe that happened. Maybe not. That's too deep. You have to get people to dig in and really excavate, and that's not got to be done for hundreds of years, probably. Not just with a little machine. I'm talking about really digging, to get cores out of the ground. Now, I hope this is still recording, because this is a long recording. Hang on, let me check. I'm gonna have to blur this because I don't want to show this. Let's see. I'm looking. Where is it at? It's still recording. Okay, it stopped. Let's see. When I turn it off, and then it shows what I recorded. So that's not good. But that's what it's recording. So you come back. Oh, don't forget the zodiac signs have a ferrite bead to protect it from being influenced, because it's helping us come back. There's an energy as to it. It's set up. The Ferrite bead is the 2 weeks of the perpendicular motion, which is considered to be in ancient times Moses. His staff, he's protecting. It is protecting the zodiacs from being influenced from outside, and also sending outwardly in the wrong direction our spirit soul connection. That's a ferrite bead. That's what you see in electronics, in a wire where it's surrounded. It comes after Libra. Hi, I'm a Libra anyway. It comes after Libra for 2 weeks. But it's not a zodiac sign. It's perpendicular, but that's what it does. It comes back, the energy, into the planet through the orange sphere. Conceived, you have 2 little cells start spinning, and then a third one. So you have 3 cells around conception, but you're not more physical than ethereally. That means you can't survive till around the 2nd trimester, maybe near the end of it. And when you're born, actually, you don't become fully physical till your sacred bone. I was going to say foramen, the sacred bone fuses. Then you're fully physical. Before that, you're more analog, you're more ethereal. That's why babies will go, mama, poo, poo, or caca. And then dada. Dada's last. I don't know, dada. But not last, but after caca. They're singing. That's what I was trying to say. They're singing. So when you want to teach a kid languages, you're not going to teach them, but you sing to them in different languages. You play. So when they're 5 and 6, those words are already with them. And it helps the brain exercise also, because there are different ways you use the tongue, and it exercises the flow. I'm in different tangents already. So you come back to the planet through the orange spheres. Turning this off. That's tangent 1. Let's see if it recorded it or not. Let's see. Trying to see this here.